This is Tech Me As I Am, a video series and podcast where self-love is shaking up the status quo of corporate America. We're diving into authentic stories that are creating space for you to feel seen, be vulnerable, and succeed working in the everyday. So let's be real, let's be different, and let's get courageous, y'all.
I'm kinda sad, I miss my nigga, dog. I wish I had somebody to talk to about these feelings, dog. Now even though you try to talk, they ain't gonna listen, dog.
Peace, family. My name is Tone Levels, also known as The Blood That Heals. I am here on Take Me As I Am, talking about my music, inspiring others, shadow work, journaling, and ascension. I pray that y'all learned a lot with this podcast. Excited to see the comments, like, subscribe. We going up. Peace.
So, Tone Levels, I am so excited to have you on the show today.
Gratitude.
First off, I'm a big fan. Second off, talk to us a little bit about who you are, how you got started, why music, why rap?
Yeah, so first I just want to say thank you for inviting me onto the podcast.
Course.
First and foremost, I'm grateful. But yeah, I'm Tone Levels, also known as The Blood That Heals on socials. I've been doing music for about 5 years, surprisingly. I never, as when I became like early in my teenage years, I kind of would say I grew up in the streets. And a lot of the individuals that I was around, all they did was music. And I was like, I even vowed to myself that I would never do music again.
Really?
Yeah, because in our communities, you know what I'm saying? That's all we do.
Yep.
Sports and music.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's interesting because the individuals that I was around, eventually when I, got out of jail and, started changing things up, I was being encouraged to do music based off of the life that I've lived and the life that I'm, embarking on now. And, I sat down with myself, meditated on it, and, I just went ahead and did it. Of course, it's growth because when I hear a lot of my old songs, I kind of cringe. I'm like, oh my God. The growth, the expansion, the extension of the duality of what I put in my music. I actually just became a fan of my music about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I just became a fan of my music.
So you were doing music before, and you said it was like before.
When I first started, so I've been doing music for 5 years.
Okay.
First started the beginning of the 5 years because I'm learning my sound. I'm trying to find my cadence.
Yeah.
Like my beats and you know what I mean. So when I listen to a lot of my old stuff, I just be like, ugh. But a lot of people today they like my old stuff. So
yeah, it's the journey, right? We follow you with the journey, and then I think that happens anytime you have you just first starting off with something. You go back and you're like, dang, if I listen to my old podcast episodes, I'm like, Brittany, but you did it, right? And you still pushing yourself to do it and continuously grow. So that's what people like. It's like the raw, So one of the songs that you had is called Therapy Session.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, this is some real shit. It really hit. There'd be times I'd be at work and I was like, I need to escape. I need to have a place to be able to be vulnerable and have somebody that feels what I'm feeling. And I feel like it's so hard, especially for Black men in our community, to be able to do that. And a lot of times we express ourselves in music. And so when you had that song and I heard it, I was like, damn, it hit. Can you tell us a little bit more about why that song? What was it, or just in general with the music you put out there?
Yeah, so Therapy Session, I created that song around the same time that I started learning about shadow work and journaling. Yeah.
So Therapy Session, you were talking to me a little bit more about you're coming out of this state of, of a mindset that you had, and you're pouring a new version of yourself into your music. You're saying you were doing some shadow work. Can you talk to us a little bit about the shadow work you were doing?
Absolutely. Again, shout out to Supernova Sloan. I had bought this book called Man, Heal Thyself. And it's similar to Sacred Woman. I don't know if you know who Queen Afua is, but she has this thick book and it's called Sacred Women. And in that book, it's not necessarily a book that you read, it's a book you actually practice out of. She got rituals and ceremonies where you do baths and, different teas, just more so just pouring into yourself as a woman. Supernova Slum created a book similar to that, but it's specifically for men. And so I got the book and I started practicing, those things. This was around the time where going to therapy in our community started hit. very, very big in our community. And I've never been like big on talking to other people, you know what I'm saying? Especially about my problems because, it's been me and my mom my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I never, only child. And so a lot of the times I would have to talk to myself. And within talking to myself, I started to, gain the clarity and the knowledge and the wisdom that I may have needed. And so, when I started to learn about shadow work, I noticed that as I'm journaling, I'm talking to myself. I'm having a real life therapy session with myself. From a higher consciousness perspective, it's more so like my higher self talking to my lower self in this realm. And so, yeah, I created therapy session because then as I'm journaling to myself, I remember it was a journal entry that I put. And at the end of it, I rap about the things that I don't like talking about. And then right after that, that's when I created the song therapy session. And
wow, that is deep. That is really deep.
I probably answered your question. I go on rants sometimes.
No, this is my cup of tea. Like, this is my cup of tea, not like for real, because shadow work, like, it's an inner version of ourselves. Like, it's the inner child version of ourselves. And you telling me like you're putting this journal entry in and you're talking about yourself, your higher self is talking to yourself like maybe 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it really hits because that's something that we weren't really modeled to do in our culture. As being descendants of slaves, as being people that we didn't have, model behavior, right? So that's probably why it hit so hard for me because it was really deep and I'm on that stuff too. So we're doing shadow work, we're journaling. Do you typically like do that when you're making songs, or is this a particular song that you did that with?
So honestly, that wasn't even my intentions. My intentions wasn't to journal just to make that song. My intentions was just to journal. You know what I mean? It just so happened that right after I got done journaling, I turned on a beat and it just flowed through me. But I mean, I look at my music as journaling. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't understand. If you really listen to my music, I'm always talking in like, I think third person, but it's me talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I just actually became a fan of my music because I actually sat back and actually heard like, okay, because when I'm recording, to me, it's a real ceremony. I shower, I brush my teeth, I light a candle, I burn some sage to cleanse the energy, I light an incense, I make sure that I'm in pitch darkness, because within that darkness, I'm able to create, I'm able to tap into that unknown where all things exist and actually be creative. And, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Soul.
Yes, I have.
So remember that part when he was playing the piano and he just closed his eyes and he went out of this, that's where I go. And when I sit back and I listen to my music, outside of that space, I'd be like, I don't know where I was. You know what I'm saying? It was just flowing through me. So majority of my music actually journal entries to myself. It just so happened that the journal entry is being placed on the beat.
That is so powerful. And what I want to say, two things. One, I love the fact you watched the movie Soul, because every time I bring up a reference, I was like, no, I haven't seen it. And the reason I bring up that as a reference, because I feel like we walk in a day and age where a lot of people like in the movie are walking around mindless, don't know like who they are. It's like zombies, right? Until a light bulb moment goes off. And then you start doing that inner work. And when you find yourself, you find your soul, you find your purpose, you find your meaning, and then you shine brighter than any star that could exist out there.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like that was like Disney's way of like kind of like talking to like the inner child version of me. So the fact that you said that, that's like really dope.
Yeah, and real quick, just to build off of that, I always say that when you find yourself, you find God. When you find God, you find yourself. And in the Bible, it says that you enter the kingdom of God when one has the heart of a child. So it's very important to cater to the inner child, because that keeps you curious. That keeps you, that allows you to imagine. You know what I mean? So yeah, just to build off what you were saying.
Thank you for saying that. Like, first off, I feel seeing you and saying that, because in this world, I feel like there's so many people that don't feel seen, and when you finally do find yourself, you can like have conversations with people, and it's like, have you done the work? I don't know. I feel like it's like a third eye, essentially. Like you're having a completely different conversation with somebody when you really have done the work. And I appreciate you saying that, because it spoke to my spirit. So another thing that I was going to ask you, you know, when we're doing this inner work and you're doing it and you're finding your purpose, which is music, obviously, like you're diving in, you know, you're giving your voice to people. You're giving this to yourself, to be honest, like, you know, but you're healing people along the way by healing yourself, by being able to have this be like a therapy sense of yourself, right? Like my podcast is like a diary for me, right? I like being able to look back and say, you know, I can see where I was before and where I am now, and the growth and learning from the people that come on here. What would you say really has helped you in being able to find your purpose, find that inner child, and do the work? Like, what was your light bulb moment for you?
Well, first off, it's understanding that I don't think my purpose is music. I think music is just a mission that I'm on. And the reason why I say that is because I've been an entrepreneur for the past 10 years. And, you know, I start this business, it becomes successful. You know, I get bored with it. I don't feel like my soul is in it no more. Something within me tells me to let it go. I let it go. The moment I let it go, a next idea comes, work on it, become successful. And it's just been, you know what I'm saying, something that's just been happening since I've been an entrepreneur. So I don't think that my purpose is music. I think my purpose goes beyond this realm. However, I think right now, the space that I'm in, I think music is just a mission that I'm on, not only to help myself and my consciousness, but to also liberate the consciousness of just the mass consciousness. But I think my light bulb moment, as far as music, was, like I was saying, probably like a year and a half ago. Because although I was doing music, I wasn't really taking it serious. I would just, you know, record a song, release it, and just call it a day. Versus actually now, which is just started maybe like a year and a half ago, I'm not only just listening to the beats, but I'm tapping into what my soul wants to express, what my emotions want to express, what my heart, my mind want to express. And once I express it, I'm actually sitting down. I'm listening to it, I'm mixing it, I'm mastering it. You know, and once I'm releasing it, I'm pushing it. I'm letting people know, like, hey, y'all, this is out. Because about 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I wasn't really pushing my music. I just drop it and I'm just doing something else. So I think, yeah, my light bulb moment was around that time where I actually started to become a fan of myself and my music. And that only was because the responses that I was getting from other people. People coming up to me in public crying, telling me how much their music has truly impacted them and helped them, and inspired them. You know what I'm saying? And I think to inspire is like a very huge act to do, because the etymology of inspire is to be in spirit. So when you inspire somebody, you're activating the spirit in that individual. So yeah, I would say maybe like when it comes to music, maybe like a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow. So what do you say when you say you're going to be you're an entrepreneur? Where do you see yourself going? Like, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, where I want to see myself? That's a great question, because I mean, and the reason why I say it's a great question, because I just had my 29th birthday and I haven't yet journaled anything, because I'm still, I don't know, I guess I'm still integrating, you know what I'm saying, everything that I've learned my 28th year, and like what I want in my 29th year and moving forward. It's a great question. Forgive me, but I don't know yet. I don't know.
That's still an answer though.
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
still
yet.
An answer.
Yeah.
Is not knowing. I think, and you cut your hair off too.
I did, yeah.
You cut your hair off. I was the first thing I was like, oh my God, he cut his hair. Tell me a little bit about like what that was for you. What was the purpose of that?
Man, you know, I was really contemplating on really cutting my locks off, because I was like, man, I feel like I'm gonna miss it. I feel like I'm gonna miss my hair, whatever the case may be, but I just feel just
lighter.
You know, yeah, you know, I even look younger. Like when I was in a barber chair and bro turned me around before he cut the lock, I was like, man, I look old. You know what I'm saying? I look old. I look tired. I looked darker. You know what I'm saying? And the moment he cut the locks off and he faded me up, he did the waves, you know what I'm saying? I just felt just new. I felt younger. You know what I'm saying? I felt more vibrant. I felt like a child. And I called like 3 of my close homeboys, and they was just like, bro, you look like little Chris. Like, you know, my stage name is Tone.
Yeah.
Real name is Christopher. And they was like, yo, you look like little Chris. You know what I'm saying? The little boy in me. So it's been a very spiritual experience within this first week. And I think that's probably why I have not yet journaled, you know, go back to your last question. I think that's probably why I have yet journaled, because I'm integrating the child that I once was before I actually grew my hair up.
That's deep.
I'm proud of you.
No, you did. You did. And it actually has a follow-up question. So being a Black man and finding that inner child and talking to him is so, so, so important. And for Black men, I mean, I'm raising 4 Black boys. So I want to be able to give them and impart wisdom to them about the importance of understanding the little boy version of themselves as they're growing, and they're little boys now. What would you say to Black men out there who are struggling, trying to find that inner child? Because to your point, finding that little boy version of themselves truly is a liberating and profound thing for them to be able to do, to continue really learning who they are.
Yeah. I think my process first started when I became a father myself. Once I became a father, I think my perspective of being a man and still having that little boy inside of you, I think that just completely changed. And the reason why it changed is because growing up, you know, I didn't have my dad. And there was a lot of anger, a lot of confusion, a lot of resentment. But because when I became a man, I kind of sat back and was like, damn, like, oh, can I use profanity?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah. I kind of sat back and I was like, damn, like, I think it's a little boy in him that has been just crying out, that didn't know how to express himself. And although the little boy inside of me still need my dad, probably still hurt, probably still have questions, even when we talk now, it's like I could ask those questions, you know what I'm saying? But I think I would actually prefer just operating in the man that I am now and loving him as the man and the little boy I see in him. Because obviously it's a little boy in him that's still hurting from his parents or, you know, his journey. And I think for me, that was the first step. You know what I'm saying? Having a different perspective of, you know, although he wasn't there, but just having a different perspective of like the resentment and the hurt that the little boy still feels inside of me, but being understanding and still having that empathy for the grown man that I am towards him. So I think that's the first step for me. And I think a lot of men could relate to that. And then once I was able to start that process, I became more creative. You know what I'm saying? I started back drawing, painting, started back utilizing my imagination. The etymology of imagination is the nation of images. So I'm able to close my eyes and just imagine just all of these wonderful colors, places.
Yeah.
I started doing things that I love, that I truly enjoy, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think those was my first 2 steps, and it was very pivotal because I think after those 2, it just became like water.
Yeah, that's deep. And I feel like it's so hard for men just in general to let go of this layer, this armor that they've had to build up for so long, because they've had to pack that little boy down so deep to get through whatever it is that they had to get through, you
Absolutely.
know? Did you ever have a moment where you had to like take that layer off and look at yourself, or did you ever have a layer of armor that you prevented yourself from?
Yeah, what did I? Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I think I still do to some extent. You know what I mean? Like in one of my songs, you know, I said I'm healing. I'm not healed yet. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a process, because you got to understand, I just started doing shadow work maybe like 3 years. You know what I'm saying? You got 3 years that is combating 25 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a process. I do feel myself a lot further forward than I am backwards. But yeah, I think for sure I definitely had multiple layers that I had to shed. You know what I'm saying? Which is very, very interesting, and I think it's very important to do. I think more so is more so like just being aware of self. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of that came from my shadow work and journaling. You know, because I would ask myself certain questions. Okay, one of my first journal entry when I started doing shadow work was, why do you have a problem with people telling you what to do? Right? And so I journaled it, wrote it down. And, you know, with shadow work, you know, you sit with a question, you know what I'm saying? You meditate. And I come to the conclusion where, okay, I had a problem with people telling me what to do because I had to learn everything on my own and I needed somebody to tell me what to do. But because I had to learn so much on my own, now it's like when somebody tell me, hey, I think you should do this, or I think now I'm catching an attitude, I'm getting irritated, like, and don't tell me what to do. Like, I got this, you know what I mean? But the beautiful thing about shadow work is that I was able to shed that defensive layer. And now when somebody give me some kind of instruction, whether it resonate or it don't, I'm still able to receive it and be like, okay, I appreciate that. Now I can meditate, be like, I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to use, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was just an illustration.
No, that's a perfect illustration because a lot of times it's hard to put pen to paper or imagine or figure out, well, if I were to go do this, how would I go about doing that? So that lived experience and example, I think will definitely help somebody.
I'm grateful.
For sure, for sure. This is awesome. I'm just, I don't know. I'm healing in a sense right now too with you because it speaks volumes to hear somebody speak that has done the work and has this understanding. And I think to your point too, you know, you're like, I'm not healed, I'm healing. I don't think honestly we're going to get to a point that we're healed.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we're changing every day. Every day. We're having new lived experiences every day. And I think for me, even when I was doing some of this work was like, I feel like, well, where's the finish line? Like, is it going to ever be finished? No. You know, if you set an expectation like this is supposed to end at some point and then everything's supposed to be fairies and rainbows, you know, it's not going to get, you're going to be sadly mistaken,
yeah,
you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Life has an interesting way of showing us reality in the most, you know, difficult and craziest times. So I think it's all about having the tools and the tool belt to know what to do.
Absolutely.
And you do
I think even to build on that, I think it's more so like the false perception of like, oh, I'm trying to get here, when here doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's just a journey. You know what I'm saying? There is no like destination. You know what I'm saying? The destination is always right here, right now.
The present moment.
You know what I'm saying? It's just how you're going to operate and maneuver the next present moment in this now. But there is no destination. You know, there's a journey.
Yes. And enjoying the process and being on the journey, right?
Enjoy. I'm trying to enjoy it.
Look.
You know, the best I can do is try, you know, forgive me.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. So what we're about to do right now is we are going to write some bars. So I'm not good at this. I'm going up against somebody that's, you know, clearly got the skill set, but we're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of just get something pen to paper and see what we have and compare it, and then we'll break it down a little bit. So we're going to have 1 minute to write out, you know, what we're going to do for this, you know, lyrics or whatever we're going to write, and then we'll come to the table with something. All right, who's gonna go first? You know what? I'm gonna let Tone go first.
Nah, you go first.
No, you over here running the cut. What you mean?
Women go first. Women go first.
All right. Look, I don't have bars. This is what. All right, here goes. Life is heavy, but the ride can sometimes be worth being steady with. You have to take the mask off and lift into your spirit and into your mind. It may feel like it's not the right time, but time is of the essence. If you have time to feel, you have time to heal. You can't grow if you don't know who's inside. So are you down to ride? That's all I got.
I like that. I already.
Yeah, what you got?
I bet. So let me see. So this one. So I'm gonna call this one questions. So it go like question number 1. I wonder where we going. Can I use profanity, right?
Yeah, you good.
All right. Question number 1. I wonder where we going when this shit done. Whoever made this game, this shit ain't fun. Question number 2, when you get upset, tell me what you do. See me, I crash out. This shit ain't new. Question number 3, when you look at me, tell me what you see. So tell me what you see. Question number 4, all this pain I'm feeling, tell me how you cope. I'm losing hope. So tell me you got rope. Question number 5, how dare you say I want them out the shit. I can't wait to prove you wrong. Yeah, that's it.
Man, that was good. That was real good. Man, put mine the same shit. I'm like over here, who you out with? Oh, Lord. But see, I'm going up against, you got this. You got this. That's your thing. That was good, though.
I appreciate it.
So, I'm going to do 2 rapid fire questions real quick. I'm going to ask you, so when you are, in the process of going through something and you feel like you're about to crash out or you feel like you need to give yourself something to self-soothe, what is the thing you do?
To self-soothe, I just be alone. I just remove myself from the situation and I do my best. I would do my best to remove myself from the situation and just be alone. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, like being alone make me strong. So me being alone, I'm able to have conversation with myself, calm myself down. You know what I'm saying? Understand, okay, why am I upset? Why do I feel like I want to crash out? You know what I'm saying? And then I will go from there.
Okay.
Separate myself.
Absolutely. 100%. All right. And then the second question is, if you listen to like a podcast or you have a book, something that is like has been life-changing for you, can you give a recommendation to our viewers of something that you think would help them in their journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I say 2 books?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's one book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's called Becoming Supernatural. It's an amazing book. He breaks down the science of how our minds actually shape reality. Reality doesn't shape our minds shape reality. And then there's another book, it's slipping my mind who the author is, but it's called The Parallel Universes of Self. It's a red book. It also speaks about basically how you're able to tap into different parallel universes of self, and you're actually able to change your past, present, and future. Even things that happened in the past, you're able to believe that something else happened, which is going to change you now, which now changes your future. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you. Thank you, Tone. I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
This has been amazing. I've learned even more about you, which is awesome. And I know you've definitely helped our viewers be able to do something to do some of that inner work. So I appreciate you. And until next time.
For sure.